Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Always happy to have you joining me here on this one. Lots of games today. Pitching ruled the day, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's jump into the news. The Mets pitching is kind of in flux right now in some ways. Blade Tidwell is expected to get the start later today. He'll go opposite Zach Wheeler and the Phillies. He pitched in the majors one time earlier this year against the Cardinals, gave up 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings. He has a 4.76 ERA in AAA. And, you know, going to see how this goes because he does have a strikeout rate that's just over 27%. So, he might get some strikeouts, probably going to give up some runs. I mean, maybe do better than he did against the Cardinals. And again, it's the Phillies lineup, so not really trustworthy, but he is slated to get the start at least. It's expected to be another just one-off spot start kind of deal. Frankie Montas should be back and join the Mets rotation afterward. Michael Toglia is back for the Rockies. They called him back up and DFA'd Keston Hiura, which is kind of just a flip-flop of what happened a couple weeks ago. Biggest news of the day, at least if you like prospects, the Braves promoted Didi Fuentes. 20-year-old is going to start against the Marlins. Fuentes made one start in AAA, but he pitched mostly in AA so far this year. On the season in the minors, he carries a 10.98 K per nine and a 2.75 walk per nine with a 4.81 ERA in 39 and a third innings. He is 20 years old, as I mentioned. Should be an exciting one. He'll be taking on the Marlins in what will be his MLB debut. EMT Shehan has been optioned by the Dodgers, and they select reliever Jack Little, who threw in yesterday's games for a couple innings. It was a nice one-day run for Shehan, who came back from the 60-day IL and now is optioned and in Oklahoma City. He threw 4 innings and gave up a run while striking out 6 in his return to action. I mean, he's going to be back. He's got to wait a little bit because there are rules. Unless there's an injury that occurs, he'll have to be down for a set amount of time. But EMT Shehan should be back with the Dodgers at some point sooner than later. Update on Cole Reagans. He had a rotator cuff strain that was confirmed by the second doctor. The last time that anything happened with Reagan's, it was, we're getting a second opinion. This is the first I've seen of it. He had that strain confirmed by the doctor. By all accounts, he's going to be reevaluated at the beginning of July, and we'll see. He's going to be shut down from throwing until then. He may resume throwing at that time, but it's going to be a little bit until we know anything more about Cole Reagans. The Royals do have Kyle Wright, who is on rehab. He should be joining them soon. Obviously, it doesn't replace Reagan's, but they should have another veteran pitcher back. And Wright will be making his Royals debut when he actually does. The Red Sox have optioned Christian Campbell. The move is expected to make room for Wilyer Abreu to be activated, but nothing is announced yet. We'll see what the Red Sox do. But by all accounts, it's going to be a Wilyer Abreu coming back. Christian Campbell got off to his hot start, but he has cooled off big time since going to AAA for a reset, and he could be back. Well, I guess that's going to depend on him and how he plays. The Phillies select Buddy Kennedy, who they got from the Tigers about a year ago. They transfer Aaron Nola to the 60-day IL. Nola, obviously the big news here. He'll be allowed to come off the IL in mid-July. Likely, it seems like he's going to be closer to the All-Star break before he actually is back, but he's been transferred to the 60-day IL, meaning it's going to be a little bit longer here for Aaron Nola. Gabriel Moreno for the Diamondbacks lands on the IL, 10-day IL with a right hand contusion. And finally, Michael King has been out, and he is expected to be out for longer. The word is that he is going to be out until the All-Star break, or at least around then, with his pinched nerve. So bad news for the Padres and their pitching staff there. Taking a look at some of the hitting highlights from yesterday's games, Alec Burlson collected 4 hits across the doubleheader, including a home run. He's hitting .313 on the year, including .404 over his last 15 games, with a trio of home runs in that time. Xander Bogaerts had himself a good day yesterday, hitting a double and a home run, still struggling overall this year to the tune of a 239 average. The Athletics had a home run parade. Willie McIver hit his first of the season, added a double and a steal to his day. Quite the day for him. Lawrence Butler hit his 11th home run. Jacob Wilson, powerless. Jacob Wilson hit his 9th home run of the year. He's got some pop to his pull side, man. I'm telling you, it's not just all contact rates and singles. And the final home run that the Athletics hit was Nick Kurtz, and Kurtz was in the 10th inning. It was his 9th home run of the year. It was a walk-off home run in a lefty-lefty matchup versus Josh Hader. Schwarber for the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber collected his 23rd home run of the year. Eugenio Suarez not too far behind him for the Diamondbacks. He picked up his 22nd home run of the year, and he added a double in their win over the Blue Jays. Not to be outdone by a Blue Jays hitter, Alejandro Kirk has 7 home runs on the year after hitting a pair of them in yesterday's game. Moving on to the Royals, Vinny Pasquantino hit his 11th home run of the year. And is that the biggest news for the Royals? No, it's not. Jack Caglione had his first home run. And I guess he liked it so much he decided to hit another one. 2 home runs for Cags. It was the first of his career, the first 2 of his career. The first one he hit was a crazy high pitch, like up at his neck, if I saw the picture correctly. Just crazy power from that guy. And again, has 2 home runs now and likely to have more before his career is said and done. Jackson Cheerio for the Brewers collected a pair of hits, including a double, and he stole his 14th base. He's hitting 260 on the year now. I know there was some cause for concern at the beginning of the year. Things seem to be evening out a little bit with Cheerio again. Remember, he's still so young. Pete Crow Armstrong is officially in the 2020 club for this season. He hit his 20th home run for the Cubs. He has 23 steals on the year. The man's just going crazy. He is so good. He's been so good this year. Moving on to the Angels, Joe Adell hit his 15th home runs in back-to-back games now. Over his last 15 games, he's hitting 240 with 6 home runs and a pair of steals. He's on a little bit of a hot streak, although over his last 7, I think he's hitting like 203 or 208, somewhere in that range. So we know this about Joe Adell. He's going to go on some power surges. He's definitely been on one as of late. James Wood hit a pair of home runs. He's now up to 20 on the year as well. He's hitting 284, and maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention to like national social media or anything, but it feels like James Wood is just like a superstar that doesn't get talked about already, which is insane. We just kind of expect him to be this powerful monster of a human being, which he is, but he's also hitting 284, and it's just remarkable what James Wood is doing and how good he is at the game of baseball. Closing out hitting, Byron Buxton went deep twice. He's up to 15 home runs on the year. Looking at some starting pitching, again, pitching kind of ruled the day. There were a lot of great pitching performances. Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals gave up 1 run across 5 innings and struck out 5 against the White Sox in one of the doubleheader games. In the other doubleheader game for the Cardinals, Eric Fetty went 5 innings and struck out 4, giving up 1 earned run. Paul Skeens threw, and I'm going to tell you what, it was a doubleheader against the Pirates, and Paul Skeens pitched 1 game, and Tarek Skubal pitched the other game. We didn't get Skeens Skubal. That's just sad. Anyway, Paul Skeens walked 5 batters, but he only gave up 2 earned runs and struck out 9 over 6 innings of work. Cater Montero was not starting against Paul Skeens. That was Tyler Holton, but Montero followed the opener, and he's, again, just steady presence. No matter how they use him, they could use him as the starter or following an opener. He's just been good. 5 innings, struck out 5, giving up 1 earned run. And, of course, Skubal in the other end of the doubleheader, not against Skeens. 5 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. He did walk 3, which is matches his May total, I'm pretty sure. Padres, Ryan Berger, 25-year-old prospect, goes 4.2 shutout innings against the Dodgers. So a great performance against a good team. Struck out 3. He's off to a really good start in the majors. 1.88 ERA with 19 strikeouts through his first 24 innings. So Ryan Berger, again, just off to a hot start. Athletics, Jacob Lopez, 9 strikeouts across 6 innings of 1-run ball. Make it back-to-back 9 strikeout games for Jacob Lopez. He's got 44 strikeouts over his last 31 and 2/3 innings. However, that comes with a 4.83 ERA. So strikeout merchant still giving up lots of runs, but back-to-back 9 strikeout outings, looking good lately, Jacob Lopez. You can't stop Charlie Morton. Go ahead, try. You can't do it. I mean, if you obviously, ignore his ERA, you can't stop him. He had 10 strikeouts in a shutout outing his last time out. And this time around, 7 strikeouts over 6 innings, giving up only 1 run. So back-to-back really good outings for Charlie Morton. Clay Holmes walked 6 batters, gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 5 across 4 2/3 innings. The Mets pitching, as I mentioned earlier when talking about Blade Tidwell, who's slated to start later today, it's about to get real weird. They had just promoted Justin Hageman, and he was thought to be the guy who was going to pitch later today, but he went 2 2/3 relief innings. Hence, Blade Tidwell coming up. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a circus and to fill some of those spots. Spencer Strider, is he back? I don't know. I'm afraid to get excited about it. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, walking 1 and giving up a run. Another great performance. I know I was following his outing against Chase DeLander very closely, and Strider was dominant in that one. He looked really good again in this one. Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies goes 8 innings, registers 4 strikeouts while giving up a run. So distance, handful of strikeouts for him. Edward Cabrera went 6 1/3 against the Phillies, struck out 5 and walked 3 while giving up a run. He's got a 3.81 ERA on the season. I mentioned he had a really good run at one point. He's Edward Cabrera at this point. Gavin Williams, it's great to see him performing. He struck out 6 and walked 3 while scattering just 2 hits over 6 shutout innings against the Giants. So a great outing for Gavin Williams. However, on the other end of that matchup was Logan Webb, who had a good outing by himself. 7 innings, 1 run ball, striking out 9. So 9 strikeouts for Logan Webb. 2 really good pitchers. What a fun pitching performance that one was. Carlos Rodon struck out 7 over 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs for the Yankees. And I'll tell you what, Chase DeLander, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. The injury obviously didn't help, but he's just matching it up. It seems like he'll either get a good number of strikeouts and give a bunch of runs, or not give up a bunch of runs, not get strikeouts. Maybe I'm wrong. This is just what I'm remembering from stat line watching, but Chase DeLander kind of just trying to find his footing and match things up. One reliever I want to talk about, Orion Kirkering for the Phillies, picked up his 2nd save of the season, and it seems like maybe the winds are shifting in the Phillies' closing duties, and they might be going to more of a committee. And if they do, Orion Kirkering is about to become very valuable as far as relievers can be valuable. Dude is just so good. Seems like he might get more save opportunities, especially if they are actually going to the committee like it seems like they are. I haven't seen if they said they are or not, but that just seems like where the winds are shifting, just, again, watching stat lines. And Kirkering, big fan of him as a reliever. Super excited to see him getting save ops. With that, we are going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, I got a handful of pitchers to talk about coming up for today's games. I appreciate you joining me once again. This is the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And welcome back to the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Glad to have you with me. We've talked some news. We've talked some hitting, some pitching. Let's go and look at today's games and see what's coming up. George Kirby taking on Matt Boyd as the Mariners take on the Cubs. And obviously, hopefully, George Kirby keeps things going. But I'm going to tell you what, just looking at the projected pitching matchups, these two look like they could be brothers. That's why I put this here. I wanted to say that. These two look like they could be brothers. Anyway, let's talk about some other pitchers. Mike Burrows has been on a roll lately, 20 strikeouts and 3 earned runs over his last 15 innings. It's 3 starts. He's made 5 of them. He's going to be taking on the Rangers and Jacob deGrom. And deGrom obviously has been fantastic too. Love deGrom against the Pirates. Mike Burrows could be an interesting one to start against the Rangers. He did it against the Cubs in his last outing, I believe, which was a tough draw, but he got the job done. Other pitching matchup to be interested in today, Didi Fuentes making his debut, as mentioned earlier, 20-year-old for the Braves. He's going to be going against the Marlins, and right now Jansen Junk is listed as the probable starter for the Marlins. he's been filthy so far this year as a reliever. Seems like he's found a new gear, likely just to throw a couple innings and be an opener for the Marlins. But Fuentes versus Junk could be a fun one for a couple innings until Jansen Junk comes out. And again, Didier Fuentes had a pretty high ERA as a in the minors, so we'll see how that one turns out. But love the aggression by the Braves to call him up and let him make his debut. We got a lefty duel, a southpaw duel coming. Mackenzie Gore versus Clayton Kershaw. Gore has obviously been amazing, but the Dodgers are scary, and the Dodgers are good against left-handed pitchers. Obviously, you trust Gore, but man, well, at least I obviously trust Gore. But man, the Dodgers are a scary one for him. And Kershaw, I don't want to say he's been surprisingly good because he's Clayton Kershaw, but I did not expect him to be as good as he has been since returning from injury. Hayden Birdsong taking on the Red Sox is another start I'm interested in. Now, the Red Sox do well against righties overall, but they also have the third highest strikeout percentage. And so I think this could be a sneaky good outing from Hayden Birdsong. He's taking on Hunter Dobbins and the Red Sox. Maybe I just like Birdsong too much, but I really like him in this matchup and think he's going to pull something out and look really good. And finally, the matchup of the day, Brewers versus Twins. Jacob Misiorowski versus Joe Ryan. Misiorowski was electric, is electric. If he has his command, he's going to continue to be electric against the Twins, and Joe Ryan is obviously Joe Ryan. He's also pretty electric himself in his own way. So I think that's going to be a fun one. That's my matchup of the day. We'll see how it all goes tomorrow. With that, I appreciate you joining me. Once again, my name is Trevor Hooth, and I would love for you to check out pitcherlist.com, the top 100 list for pitchers, the top 100 hitters, the reliever lists, and all the wonderful writing that comes out constantly on that website, as well as joining PL Pro and getting on the Discord, coming to talk baseball with us. It's always a fun time there. I share all my wonderful prospect takes that, well, I share them. I don't know how they turn out, but I share them. I will see you guys tomorrow. Once again, this has been the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List.